The opening is not at all harsh, okay? They have made the blend quality really good. So in terms of the pricing, it's not value for money. How close are they? I would say around 70-75% over there. Now the last perfume that is left is, hey guys, welcome to another video of Sense Saga. This is Deep, and in this video I am going to talk about LUNAER perfumes. So I think just like me, you have seen a lot of ads from LUNAER perfumes, and kudos to their marketing team. They have done a great job with the way they have created the videos, because the entire packaging and marketing seems to be really well done and well executed, due to which it piqued my interest and I got the discovery set, which had around 10 perfumes in them, all coming in like 10 ml bottles. Now out of those 10 perfumes, I mostly use this 4, or rather I spend more times with this 4 than the rest, and that is the reason in this video I'm just going to talk about these 4 perfumes, and the rest I will talk about when I actually test them out properly. So the perfumes that I'm going to talk about in this particular video is to be named. Then we have got Cigar Oud, then we have got Tobacco Vanilla, and then we have got Oud Infini. Okay, so without wasting any more time, I'm just gonna jump into the review and I will talk about each perfumes one by one. I'm gonna talk about the smell, longevity, and everything else there is to talk about, including the pricing. So let me go ahead and talk about this perfume first, which is Cigar Oud from LUNAER. The moment you spray this perfume, Cigar Oud, you will be greeted with a very similar smell to red tobacco from Mancera. Okay, so if you have ever used Mancera's red tobacco, if you have liked that scent profile, you will be happy with this perfume, to be honest. However, there are some key differences between Mancera's red tobacco and this one. Let me go through them one by one. Okay, now in the opening, Mancera's red tobacco has a very medicinal opening. Some are kind of very offended by that smell, they don't like it, and they usually prefer Mancera's red tobacco in the dry down. I tend to be somebody who enjoys Mancera's red tobacco through and through, so I don't have a problem. However, for the Indian weather, I think this is more well suited, which is Cigar Oud, because this is a bit more on the airier side of things. This is a bit more lighter, and that medicinal note is kind of missing. Also, the note of cherry is kind of heavy on the Mancera's red tobacco. So it's the moment you spray it, it's a dense, sweet note along with the spices and the dry tobacco all coming right at your nose. But this one, this is not the case. Okay, the sweetness is a bit less. The hint of leathery accord is a bit less. So just tone down the red tobacco note by maybe just like, if you have a volume knob, just tone down the entire intensity of red tobacco and you basically get this one. The spiciness is a bit lesser. That is why I said it's a nuanced difference with red tobacco. However, it's a very good blend. The moment you spray it, one of the good thing about Cigar Oud from LUNAER perfume is the opening is not at all harsh. They have made the blend quality really good. It doesn't have any alcoholic blast the moment you spray it on your hand, even on your clothes. You will not get the idea that this is a cheap perfume the moment you spray it. Although pricing wise this is not cheap, smell wise also you will not feel it's cheap. So let me talk about the pricing when I'm talking about cheap and expensive. So this perfume, Oud Cigar, like the rest of the perfumes from LUNAER, basically sells for around $14.99 or $1500 for a 50 ml bottle. This is basically a 10 ml tester, so I'm not going to talk about the atomizer or presentation over here. But in terms of the full bottle, I have seen a few videos about the bottle. They look really nice, and the atomizers and everything also looks fine. I'm not going to nitpick on that one. So in terms of the pricing, it's $1500 for a 50 ml. Which according to me is a bit on the higher side, because I have already used a lot of clones of red tobacco. Trust me, there are options which are really good and comes at a way cheaper price than what Cigar Oud has to offer. In terms of the pricing, it's not value for money. But apart from that, everything else is really good. Now in terms of projection and longevity, the OG, which is Mancera's red tobacco, kind of stays for days on when applied on the clothes. Projection is really monstrous. 2 to 3 hours easily it projects properly, and the longevity is around 10 to 12 hours easily. In this case, since this is kind of a watered down or a dialed down version of the OG, here the projection is around 45 minutes to 1 hour, but this is not a high projecting or beast mode projecting perfume. And when applied on my clothes, this kind of became a moderate projecting perfume, which might be good for somebody, might not work for somebody. So if you're somebody who likes a bit softer projection, I think this is actually a better option, a more wearable option. Longevity wise, it stayed properly like 5 to 6 hours on the clothes, but the scent bubble was very, very, very close. It was something that if somebody comes in close vicinity, then and only then you will be able to detect the perfume, or else it will not be detectable. Also, one more thing about LUNAER as a brand. When I checked the website from my phone, I could see that the notes were available like in images format at the bottom of the perfume name. But when I checked the same using the desktop browser, I was not able to find the notes properly written anywhere. I might be looking elsewhere. I will share a screen recording so that you get the idea of what I'm speaking. I mean, that was the bad thing about the website. The good thing about LUNAER in general is their perfumes are IFRA certified, which means that they are okay to be applied on the skin. So that's Cigar Oud. In short, my review would be, if you like the smell, structure or DNA of red tobacco, but you want something more wearable and more lighter, and you're okay to spend around 1500 for a 50 ml, you can go for this one. Or else I will be creating a blind test video about the clones of red tobacco in the future. You can check that out and find out which is the best clone of red tobacco. Use the comment section and let me know if you would be interested in a video like that. Now let's move on to the next one, which is Tobacco Vanilla. Well, as the name suggests, if you have already used a perfume called Tom Ford's Tobacco Vanille, this is basically the recreation or say inspired version or say replication. The moment you spray this perfume, you will be greeted with a smell which is very familiar to Tom Ford's Tobacco Vanille, and I feel, again, similar to the case of Mancera's Red Tobacco and Cigar Oud, the case over here is very similar. Tobacco Vanilla from LUNAER is again a more airy and a more lighter version of Tobacco Vanille from Tom Ford, because the Tobacco Vanille, the OG, is kind of dense and dark. Again, this one is a bit more airy, a bit more wearable, more suited to the Indian weather. The blend quality is equally good. I mean, keep this as in general that the blend quality of LUNAER perfumes are actually good. They don't have that alcoholic blast. I mean, if I have to break down the notes, it's basically very, very simple. Vanilla, dry tobacco, a little bit of spices, and that's pretty much it, to be honest. It's a linear perfume and there is nothing to complain about. Again, the pricing for Tobacco Vanilla from LUNAER is again same, which is $14.99 for a 50 ml. But with my experience, I have smelled a few which are equally good but costs way less. So in that value for money aspect department, Tobacco Vanilla from LUNAER perfumes might not be for somebody who's looking for the most value for money budget alternative to Tom Ford's Tobacco Vanille. But if you are somebody who's okay to pay that 14 to 1500 rupees for a 50 ml without any discounts, because I saw the website, they are running some discounts where the effective price will be a bit lower. I'm not going to talk about the discounts over here because they tend to change from time to time. So whatever I'm going to quote over here might not be the case when you're watching this video. So in retail pricing, it's 1500. So if you can spend that amount, you will actually get a good perfume which smells really nice, has the same accord of Tom Ford's Tobacco Vanille. The projection for this one was better than Cigar Oud, to my surprise, because usually the OG Mancera Red Tobacco actually outperforms Tobacco Vanille from Tom Ford. But here the case is a bit different. This one, which is Tobacco Vanilla, usually stayed longer than Cigar Oud on my clothes and projected better as well. So for 1 hour, this projected a bit more than Cigar Oud. If I have to give a rating, say if on a scale of 10, Cigar Oud did a 6, then the Tobacco Vanilla would have done a 7.5. And in terms of longevity, this stayed around 6 to 7 hours on my clothes. And the scent bubble was again not a big scent bubble, but it was a bit better than Cigar Oud in my opinion. So good perfume, just on the higher side of things in terms of pricing. Now let's talk about Oud Infini. This is, the moment you smell this, you will understand, if in case you have smelled the smell structure of Louis Vuitton's Ombre Nomad, This is basically that, but again, with some nuance differences. In the OG Ombre Nomad, you basically get a bit of rose. Over here, that has been replaced with incense. Apart from that, the note structure remains the same, which is raspberry, saffron, oud, and here it's incense. Now, if I have to say how close are they, I would say around 70-75% over there. Now, LV's Ombre Nomad is a very expensive perfume. Compared to that, 1500, 50 ml. Good blend quality, refined blend quality, not that much of alcoholic blast. So if I compare it with the OG, the price kind of justifies over here with what they're offering. And this was something that outperformed Tobacco Vanilla as well as Cigar Oud in terms of projection and longevity. This basically projected a bit more, around again the same 1 to 1.5 hours, but this had a projection of 8 if I compare it with the rest. And the longevity was also 6 to 7 hours easily when applied on my clothes. This is something well suited for the Indian weather, according to me, because again, during this April, May, or say February, March, during that point in time, if you would apply the OG, which is Ombre Nomad, you will be kind of, it will be sticky, a bit heavy on the side, because that's not a perfume well suited for hot weather. This, on the other hand, can be something that you can wear in the evening easily, even if it's a hot weather, because it's not that heavy, it's not that dense, it's a bit more airy on the side. So Oud Infini, out of the three, has been one of my favorite from LUNAER perfumes in terms of the blend, the smell, and somehow for me the pricing over here justifies, because I haven't tested a lot of Ombre Nomad's clone, but whatever I have tested so far, this is actually good. So if I had to recommend a perfume out of the ones that I've tested today, Oud Infini is something that you can actually go ahead and buy. I mean, if I had to recommend. Now, the last perfume that is left is To Be Named. Now, a lot of hype was created around this perfume through their Instagram page, where they were saying like, we don't know what to call it, so we have kept the name To Be Named. This is something really good. And a lot of things were said about this perfume. So I was very intrigued about this perfume, to be honest, when I was buying the Discovery set. Like, seriously, To Be Named? No name. So let's go ahead and check this out. If I have to tell you with all honesty, because I haven't tested all the perfumes out in the world, okay? In my brief experience so far with perfumes, I actually haven't smelled anything which smells exactly like this. If somebody has already smelled this and feels like it resembles to some other perfume, go ahead and share it in the comment. But to my nose, it felt this is kind of a fresh take on the DNA of a very popular perfume, which is Azzaro's Most Wanted, but it doesn't smell like Most Wanted. Let me explain it to you. Imagine if you have the smell of Azzaro's Most Wanted and you make it a bit fresher and a bit less sweeter. Imagine a toffee and then add some fresh accord on top of it. Just make Azzaro Most Wanted a bit more fresh, a bit more marine-like. And this is what you will get, okay? It has got some minty vibes to it. If you look into the notes, they have said that they have used dark chocolate, they have used marshmallow, they have used vanilla, and a few other notes, which I can't recollect as of now. I'll have to check. I will put the notes over there. But in all honesty, what they did was basically they made a gourmandish perfume, but took a fresh take on it, made it a bit more aquatic, made it a bit more fresh. And that is the reason I think they have named it To Be Named, okay? Not a bad perfume actually. According to me, this is a very, very, very new smell structure that I've smelled and that I have kind of enjoyed. This is something that I can wear in the day as well, and something that I can wear in the night as well. And although I am not somebody who likes super sweet perfumes, this is to my taste because this is not super sweet. Although I get a hint of sweetness from that vanilla, but that note of dark chocolate and marshmallow kind of masks that out and creates a very, very well structured and well blended smell to my nose, okay? Unfortunately, this doesn't project as loud as the rest. I mean, when I compare it with Oud Infini or say Tobacco Vanilla, this doesn't project that loud. It's kind of near Cigar Oud in terms of projection, which is like a 6. Longevity wise, this stayed around 4 to 5 hours on my clothes. And In the website, it says like up to 10 hours they will last. Maybe in a controlled environment they will. But in my testing, on my clothes, they have lasted around 4 to 5 hours, after which they became so close that only I was able to kind of put my nose over there to feel the perfume. I didn't have any olfactory issues like olfactory fatigue or something like nose blind, because I kept on smelling a lot of things just to see if I'm getting the whiff, which was not the case with To Be Named. But as a smell, is it bad? No, it's actually a good perfume. Now, who will want to enjoy this perfume? I personally feel like, say for example, Oud Infini or Tobacco Vanilla or Cigar Oud, these cater mostly to men above 25. This, on the other hand, is something that even a college goer or a school goer can also apply. This is more on the younger side of things than this, the rest of the three that I talked about. And the pricing is same, which is $14.99. But I saw the website, they're running some discount, due to which it's available for around $11.99, which is around $1,200 for this perfume. And according to that pricing, this is not at all bad. Like $2,400 for 100 milliliter, any Middle Eastern brand, a lot of people are ready to pay that amount. With this one, you can actually go ahead and buy the 50 ml bottle for like $1,200, because for that price, the quality is actually justified. I mean, if the perfume would have smelled bad or cheap or harsh, I would have not recommended this. But in terms of the pricing, you are getting a really good blend quality, and that is something that I have to give my thumbs up to LUNAER. This was kind of my review of the 4 perfumes. If I have to rate this 4 according to my preferences, I would have highly given number to Oud Infinity. This would have been my number 1. My number 2 would have been this one, which is To Be Named, because of the versatility that it carries. The third would be Tobacco Vanilla, because of the longevity and projection. And the fourth would have been Cigar Oud, because out of all of them, this kind of was the softest and lasted the least amount of time, similar to what To Be Named did. So that was kind of my review with LUNAER perfumes. Hit me up in the comment section if you want to see the other perfumes being tested and reviewed as well. I hope this video was insightful enough for you to take a decision about LUNAER perfumes. And in case you have enjoyed this video, do hit the like button, subscribe to the channel for reviews as such. And this is Deep signing off. I'll see you on the next one very soon. Bye-bye.